welcome to another episode of Chatty Broads with Bekah and Jess.
Happy Thursday, Broads! Happy Thursday!
Happy Thursday to you.
Happy Thursday to you. Okay, well, I'm trying to start it off with a good energy because Lord knows this morning, we're recording on Tuesday, and this morning I just recorded an emotionally charged episode, really railing on Greg, and I'm just recovering, I'm processing, and I'm also devastated that I'm not joined by Jess this week, but...
Devastated?
Yeah, I really wanted to...
I'm a devastation.
No, not for this episode necessarily, but for the Tuesday episode, I was pretty devastated that she and we've been building up to this moment all season for our redemption with Greg.
Well, it is true. Yeah, it is sad that she's not here to revel in that glory with you of being right.
Are you going to be staring at yourself in the console the entire time?
I just want to see how I'm filling out.
We have a little screen in the corner, Broads, where you can see the camera shot, and Gray's eyes are transfixed upon himself.
See how I look when I'm flexing in the camera.
Whenever I'm on Zoom, did you know that you can click a little thing to make the view of yourself go away?
Yeah, but it's also hard because the TV's right in front of me.
I know. Lee, you should angle the TV away from Grayston. He literally won't be able to look me in the eyes or elsewhere.
What's up, pretty? Who knows? I might be looking at you.
No, you're 100% looking at yourself. Don't even front. All right. Anyway, so we are captaining the ship.
Yes.
High five. And in true chaotic fashion, I had a couple ideas of what we'd do for this episode, but none of them really came to fruition. I'm like, whatever. Gray and I will just end up shooting the ship for an hour and a half, which is totally fine by me. But then we had an idea. Mm-hmm. I don't know how this is going to work out, though.
Well, we're going to try to roll with it. I have no doubt Beck and I are going to fill the time. But the initial idea was to follow the asking Becca's dad for advice concept that she did on her Instagram.
I think Jess and I do want to do a full interview with him on the podcast, but
we're going to do the same thing just with my mom.
And this is our idea. Now, as you all know, I'm a big H3 podcast fan. But I swear to God, I don't intentionally copy everything that they do. I've been wanting to get... I've actually been telling Jess for years now that I want to get each of our parents on the podcast. Like, I want to interview Jess's mom, be like, what was Jess like as a kid? I want to get my parents on. I mean, I've been trying to do this for a really long time. But recently I think that they're starting to warm more up to it. So our idea was that we could get some advice questions. We'll answer some of them. And then we'll call up Gray's mom, ask her some of these advice questions.
We'll see how that goes. And
then if we can get a hold of my dad as well, we will
ask the same questions and compare the advice that you're being given.
Should you and I rate it too? Decide whose advice is better?
I don't know. We'll see who's pandering to the audience more. Be like, who's more self-conscious that they're saying stuff and who's more just shooting from the hip and giving you real advice.
I'm going to have to call my dad and be like, oh, this is just a tiny little thing we're doing. Just a little project.
Because your dad was all concerned about his backlash from answering those things. But then he was also telling people all about it. That's his new golf conversation.
Yeah, he'd be like, oh yeah, my daughter.
Be like, I said, get a job. Mm-hmm. And he's probably told that to 100 people now. Yeah,
for those of you that didn't see, I did a little Q&A segment with my dad on my Instagram, and it was, in my opinion, pretty entertaining.
Yeah, he was very proud of himself after.
Now, before we actually get into doing any of that, first of all, how are you? Since it's just me and you on the podcast today, plug away any projects, my man. This is Plug Central.
Upcoming projects. So many upcoming projects.
But for real, do you have anything in particular that you want to plug?
Well, there's no dates on any of it yet, but the gym is finally launching e-com. So,
do people know what that is?
E-commerce.
Internet.
So, yeah, you can buy stuff on the internet. But we're opening a lifestyle shop for the gym based on what we think the sport of indoor climbing apparel sort of should look like, or not should, it's just our take on those things. So it'll be a lifestyle shop for the casual gym goer or like outdoor recreation climbing inspired person. So we're excited about that. Things can range from clothing to homewares and home goods, and a lot of it'll be collabs from our friends. And then launching my nonprofit very soon, which will be exciting.
Okay, that's it. I wanted a
Stop. These are quick collabs. Bekah has new clothing drops coming out that you can pre-order. Are you still pre-ordering?
No, it was only for 24 hours on Tuesday.
Oh, too bad, you guys. Then you just added the pre-order. You're going to have to anticipate it. Actually, Lily, the new nanny, was really excited about the shirt.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she was like, I am obsessed with all things astrology. Where is this and how do I get it? And I was like, oh, that's Bekah's clothing company. And she was like, okay. And I was like, yeah, you'll have to ask her about it.
Aww.
I didn't want to go into like a whole sales thing.
Love that.
But, yeah.
Love our nanny, sex positive, astrology positive queen.
Yes. And then what else? There's got to be something else. This is not very good for plugs.
Oh my God. All right. You're cut off from your plugs. Stop. You could go on forever. Well, my buddy has a project.
Let me just think through my head. What other plugs?
Your 32nd birthday is coming up next month.
My 30. At first, I thought you said my 32nd, like it's going to be for 30 seconds. And I was like, what is a 32nd birthday?
Okay.
And I realized I'm turning 32. And this is what being up since 5:30.
Oh my God, dude. That's what I said
will do to you.
That's what I said this morning too. I was like, not only did we just stay up too late, I stayed up way too late. Our freaking kids were up at 5. Why do they do this to us?
It's a perfect example of there are some days when you love your kids and some days you want to put a for sale sign on them. Just put them out front. Just be like, lowest bidder. They're free even, potentially.
I could never, because I'm such a better parent than you.
I would just put a sign that says, pretty good kids, I just need more sleep.
Do you remember Shel Silverstein's
Little brother for sale?
Yeah. Or was it Little Brother for Sale?
I remember it clearly.
Or Little Sister for Sale, something like that. Anyway, okay, plugs aside, there's a couple other things I need to talk with you about. First of all, people want to know your feelings about last Thursday's episode.
Evan and I are going to talk about it.
Have you even listened to it yet?
No. Why would I listen to it?
You're not
I know
going to?
everything I need to know. You had your ex fucking idiot on, and you guys talked about what a positive time you guys had together, and now you're burgeoning your friendship again, and I have thoughts and feelings. Do I think it's rude on certain levels? Yes. Am I trying to be understanding? Yes and no at the same time. So me and Evan will talk all about it. That's something I want to talk with my guy friends about, and less so with you.
Who says I was?
Gross.
Who said I was developing a friendship?
You're literally in the car talking about how you asked him to invite us to his holiday party.
Okay, it's not.
Is that not chasing a friendship?
I'm chasing the holiday party. Okay.
Who here thinks lines are being crossed? Boundaries being blurred by Rebecca. One idea we had for this podcast was to host our remote couples therapy live on here. That would have been fire.
Can you stop? I'm being dead serious, actually. Hey, Lee, can you turn that monitor? Because Gray can't stop looking at himself. Like, literally, he's just staring himself dead in the eyes and has been the last 15 minutes.
It's impossible. I'm looking right at myself. It's impossible not to. It's literally, it is directly in my line of sight.
Yeah. No, I get that.
There we go.
More.
Perfect.
There you go. Better? Do I have your attention?
I don't know.
Anyway, so you're going to chat with that about...
Yeah, Evan and I will talk about it. Okay? You've done enough.
You are reveling in the opportunity to stir shit. Did y'all see Gray, the Chatty Broads Instagram comments?
What did I say? So inappropriate?
Oh, you said beyond disrespectful or some shit like
disrespectful. You know, I wasn't even asked if I was okay with that.
That's not true.
Is it not?
That's not true. I literally said, would you be okay with us having him on? And you're like, yeah, this is you. Yeah, whatever.
It's a demonstration of my quality active listening skills. Okay. So on to our discussions, on to our questions, the send-ins. What do we got? Open your DMs.
You're not. Are you being serious right now?
Evan and I are going to talk about it. I said I was going to talk about it on Chatty Bros. Do not try to steal Chatty Bros' thunder. Do not try to steal Chatty Bros' thunder.
You're out here hyping up this episode.
We are in an active competition for higher ratings than the Chatty Broads. And I am not going to work against myself by playing into your attempts to get me to talk about the content I have explicitly stated I will be discussing on me and Evan's next episode.
That's a boundary. You're right. That's a boundary.
Respect my boundaries.
You're right. Okay. Other question that would not be relevant for anyone we're trying to contact. What happens if we can't get a hold of your mom or my dad? Have we thought about this?
No. We'll just figure it out. We'll see what happens.
We'll just give our own advice.
My mom is going to pick up.
Oh, that's going to be good. All right. Also a question from the audience. Gray, if Greg was your boy, what would you say to him about last night if you watched that shit go down?
If Greg was my friend and I watched him argue, I'd be like, bro, you need to, like... The thing that's like... I don't know. You know, this was something I actually dealt with in college. When my senior year, I lived with 4 girls and me, and I watched some of my friends date my roommates, and I got to see
how they were,
be faced with the reality of like seeing the other side to my guy friends, which was seeing them as a partner and how they treated their partners, and a lot of them were really disappointing. Just coming to that reality of being like, oh, they're such a good guy, but never really taking into consideration like how they're treating their ex-girlfriends or how they're treating girls that they're casually dating, or like, you know, how they handle confrontation from those same people. And being like a list, like being, you know, a sounding board for both of them.
Being able to see both sides of the story kind of thing.
Yeah. I mean, look, like Greg's going to tell his friends, like his whole, like what a victim he is in this situation. And ultimately it's like Greg just made a decision, or he had like preemptively made a decision that he was going to find any out he possibly could. I don't think I literally don't think it's the first time that Katie is telling him that she's not going to say, I love you to any of the contestants.
No.
That seems like we only see glimpses of the conversations they have. I think that's something Katie's been pretty upfront with all the contestants about. And when you see Blake's response to Greg being like, oh my gosh, like I can't handle this. He's like, well, it's not something, you know, what are you expecting? And also, I mean, Blake's been on the show before, but still, it's not news to anybody.
Yeah.
None of it's news to anyone. And so for him to make like such a big deal about it, not only then when Katie's like, can you just tell me exactly what it is that you want from me? And he won't answer the question. He's just being like super petty and passive aggressive. And is like, well, what did you want to hear from anybody? Like, that's all I wanted to hear. And she's literally like, you're my front runner. You're my very first choice. You have been from the very get-go. I see myself getting with you at the end of this. Can you just please trust me through the rest of this process? What the fuck more do you want to hear from a contestant? She basically ruined the show for everybody. If he had stayed on, all the other conversations are just pointless.
Yeah, and you know what?
She laid that out for him.
Someone in the comments was like, and I hadn't heard it in these words before, but they were like, Greg keeps moving the goalposts. Yeah. Every time they have a conversation of like, oh no, this is actually what I need from you. You know, oh, this is actually what I need from you, kind of thing. Like you said, never make it clear. And what I said on the podcast on Tuesday was, I think, I don't want to repeat everything, but since we're chatting about it, I think he was trying to push past her boundary of saying, no, I'm not going to say I love you or tell you that you're the one at the end.
The other thing is he's acting like he should be rewarded for being like emotionally somewhat. Oh, I mean, dude, this is like,
right. Like
this,
he was entitled to a certain response.
This is such like, it's a typical example of like overly masculinized, like bullshit to me of like, that's the most open you've ever been with anyone.
His family said, oh, Greg never talks about his dad to us.
That's a problem. That's a problem. That's an obvious, I don't need to be a professional to diagnose that as a fucking problem, especially going into any relationship where you're going to be emotionally open or available to people. Yes. You're completely closed off from yourself if you can't talk about these things. And literally just being like, I'm sad that my dad is no longer with us. That's the most open I've ever been to anybody, is like, bro, you have a lot of unpacking to do. And you also don't seem to it's just like, dude, nothing you said was special.
Yeah.
Like, I get it's hard. It's hard for you to talk about it, but it's like, you didn't open up anything. You just like, yeah, my dad died and it's sad. And I miss him. And he died young.
Her dad did too.
Yeah. It's like, I don't know. She doesn't owe you the world for saying that. She doesn't owe you anything for being open to her. And that was the stuff that was really pissing me off about it, is he was like, I laid my heart on the line, or whatever the fuck he kept saying, that he was like so open to her and more so than anybody. And that like, she should basically be like groveling at his feet and thanking him for being open to her in the way that he did. I don't know. I'm just like, it's so manipulative, and yeah, like you said, moving the goalposts and just rewording. It was like a child where there's nothing you can say to console that person.
Yeah.
And that they just want to be pissed off. And yeah, like that, those are clear signs of like an emotionally manipulative person. He might not even be aware that he's doing this. He's probably done it his entire life.
It's a learned behavior, you know?
It's defensive.
Right. Yes.
That's all it is.
It's
like
sure
an emotional
protected.
Defense mechanism.
Yeah.
And that's where, like, to me, I think I would be really interested to see how Greg responds to watching himself in those arguments.
Well, dude, this is what Greg's friend tweeted. So this is kind of interesting, since people are asking you, like, what would you say if Greg was your friend? His friend tweeted, because Reality Steve tweeted, the victim game Greg is playing isn't working at all, whatever. And then Greg's friend tweeted, the victim game? That was the most vulnerable I've ever seen a man speak in my entire life. And the response Katie gave was, I just like looking at you. I watched this man cry every day when he got home. He was broken. What do you think about that?
I just think all these guys need a lot of therapy and like self-work in terms of like what, like crying isn't necessarily like emotionally open and available.
No, I mean, and even just saying like, you fill the hole in my heart where my dad was.
It's like, really? And so then, okay, but the stuff that stands out to me, like, aside from what my thoughts are on, like, are they, you know, what kind of emotional stuff they need to go through.
Yeah.
If someone is filling the hole that your dad left behind, and you basically give them one chance to misunderstand you, and then you're like, fuck you, I'm going to leave you in the dirt. They probably weren't filling that hole. You're lying to them. You're lying to yourself. And you're lying to anyone watching it. Yes. And it's a fucking joke to even say that when it's obviously not true.
Exactly. And if his friend's saying that, oh, he was so broken, he cried every day. I'm like, why the fuck did you leave after saying that this girl was going to be your wife? And then you're that willing to walk away? One small mistake. I've been saying, and other people have been saying too, like, hello, how many times in relationships do you and I say the wrong thing? Yeah. Have the wrong reaction, give the wrong response.
You see her try to do that as well, to just be like, there's a miscommunication. She
Right.
wants to address it. She comes, and then she's just like, oh no, there's only so much.
No, she's still trying to, even up to the end. She was like, falling on her knees, being like, she doesn't even know what she's apologizing for at that point. She's just like,
No.
I'm sorry. What can I do? What can I do?
Yeah, and he's at that point is like, mind's made up. It's like, no. I'm lucky enough that I have friends who they don't just endlessly support me.
Yeah.
Like it's not about that. Like
It's not like a ride or die, no matter how problematic you're being.
no, and like I was going through a time when I won't go into detail on like the explicit, but I had a perspective on a situation. And I was like, yeah, this is this and this is bullshit. And my friend, very good friend, was basically like, yo, you're completely wrong. And you're looking for other people to blame for your behavior and your actions. And the responsibility doesn't lie on anyone but yourself. And you need to think about why it is that you go to those places and why you think you need, like, why you're not the one who needs to take responsibility for your own actions.
That's a good friend.
He's a very good friend. That's why he's been my best friend for my whole life.
Who is it?
Alec. And so
Word.
it's like,
Yeah.
that to me is like, good friends aren't just people who agree with you. They're people who will call you out on your bullshit. And all I saw was a lot of bullshit. I'm not saying that all of it was fake. I think the dude is definitely hurting.
Yeah.
Like that's all very real, but his the follow-up conversations from where he felt like Katie slighted him
Right?
made literally no sense. And he was just like,
Like that was the day after. Like he slept on that and then went there after
No,
sleeping on the conversation.
It was like looking for an excuse after he started realizing that Katie was more into him than he was into Katie. Because you got to go back into like a lot of things on like, look at Greg's facial reactions when he gets selected for the one-on-one and he's not expecting it. And he's like, wow, I'm so happy that I'm selected for this one-on-one. It's like, wow, really? That's the most excited I've ever seen Greg. Like, what the fuck? Like, this dude, you believe this guy?
Well, that's the thing. People are saying like, oh, it's because he's lost his dad, whatever. I'm like, bro, if you're that depressed and still in the middle of grief, why the fuck are you signing up for this show? And by the way, he got cast for Claire's season last year.
He got cast for Claire's season, even closer to that.
Yes.
So, I don't know, dude.
Yeah, I know.
I don't know. I don't want to draw too much into like thoughts on like things I don't know. Things I did see are just, he made a choice in his position that he was going to hold on that argument, and nothing Katie was going to say or do was going to change his mind. And that's like that's not being open and available to someone.
Yeah.
By any means. That's just, it's like also just say that you're not into it anymore. And he didn't want to do that. He wanted to put it all on her, put all the blame on her, and make himself like totally, clean of the situation, and that it was like a clean walk away and break and feel super vindicated by the whole process.
One last question, then we're going to do a little commercial break. Would you can you imagine yourself ever being in a scenario where you would like allow to happen like what happened when Katie was like literally on her knees on the ground, like just like shaking, begging him, like, what do I have to do? Like, I'm so like, whatever.
I don't know what you mean by that exactly.
Well, when I watched it, I was just like, that's so cold. Like, I can't imagine like Michael or Justin or you or Evan or any man like allowing her to be like that.
The times that I argued with people I cared about, like the way Greg was arguing with Katie, was me arguing with my mom when she would catch me like selling pot in high school.
Yeah.
And I would shift the argument into being like, why are you going through my pockets?
Oh, well, you can't trust me. I can't trust you because you're violating my privacy.
That's exactly the same kind of stupid teenage bullshit of being like not taking ownership for the fact that it's like, yeah, there are clear rules that I'm not supposed to sell pot. It's not about whether or not my mom is supposed to go through my pockets. It's like that.
Right. It's like once we deal with that issue, maybe then we can talk about later how that was a violation of privacy for her to go through your shit. But
it's just, it's so
but
stupid.
It's, you know what it's like? It's like if a girl goes through her boyfriend's texts and finds out he's cheating, and he's like,
and
bitch,
he's like,
why are you going through my texts?
Yeah.
It's like, yes, sure, that is a problem, but like the issue at hand here is your huge fuck up, not her like mistake. I don't know.
No, and he was also, what he was trying to do was be like really unfair. Mm-hmm. He was trying to disrupt the whole show.
Yeah, no, I truly believe he was like trying to push past her boundary that she set of not wanting
and
to.
I'm confused because was he like basically... I'm confused on whether or not he wanted to go through the rest of the process, or if he was like basically putting his foot in the ground of like wanting her to forego fantasy suites with everybody and wanting to forego the rest of the show and basically just pick him then and there and have that be the end of it.
I don't know. I think that, again, I think he wanted her to break that boundary that she set so that he could feel less insecure and more in control of the relationship. I think that when someone displays toxic behavior, what they're wanting is a sense of control in the relationship. And when they can get someone to shift and push past a boundary, that gives them a sense of control, right?
My favorite is that he leads into saying, I love her, with that he has made up his mind to tell her this and that he's not going to have any regrets about it, no matter what happens. Right before he tells her that he's falling in love with her. And then immediately goes on the extreme defense to burn the entire relationship down.
Oh, it's
so that's really interesting to
wild.
me. It's to be like, wild. Oh, I've made up my mind. No matter what you say, like, I want you to know this. And then he's like, basically, like, how could you?
Yeah. Well, okay. Anyway, thank you for giving your take on that. I have to read from our sponsors real quick, and we'll be right back.
Okay, quick pause. Don't know what you babes are currently talking about because I'm on vacay, but I had to stop by and talk to you about something with B, okay? I don't know about you all, but my brain needs a little serotonin, a little boost of happiness multiple times a day, every day. If you just go all the time, you'll burn out. Of course, easier said than done. I mean, finding the time to actually relax or do something you love every single day, a feat all of its own. But did you know you can give your brain a little break in just minutes? Okay, minutes. My favorite way to get a little boost of happiness is by playing a quick level of my favorite mobile game, Best Fiends.
Okay, but just a fair warning, I always say it will be one quick level, and it never is, not for me anyway, because Best Fiends is one of those games that makes 40 minutes feel like 3 minutes. It's so fun. There's thousands of puzzles to solve and cute players to collect along the way, and they add more each week, so even if you play every single day, you'll always have new levels to get through.
I legit pull out my phone to play Best Fiends anytime I have a wait, and it makes the time fly by. That's what's so great too. It doesn't matter if you have the time to play once a day or once a month. You'll still have just as much fun. A lot of games require that you really put in the time to understand what's going on and beat the levels. Best Fiends is fun no matter what. Just don't blame us if you end up, becoming a little obsessed.
Download the 5-star rated puzzle game Best Fiends free today on the App Store or Google Play. That's friends without the R, Best Fiends.
Broads, for the first few months of working from home, I literally would work anywhere in my house, the floor in my daughter's room, curled up on the couch, my bed. Please no angry comments. I know working from your bed is horrible for your sleep, and thankfully I don't do it anymore. Because it didn't take long for me to realize I needed a little home office. And in this past year, I gave it a nice little makeover with the help of Article.
Having a nice dedicated workspace is for real a game changer, but we get it. Shopping for new furniture can be really overwhelming. That's why Article is usually my first stop when any room in my house needs a refresh. They make shopping for furniture and home goods so simple. Article combines the curation of a boutique furniture store with the comfort and simplicity of shopping online, and instead of sorting through hundreds of different design styles, their team of designers focuses on just a few so you can easily browse pieces and find the best ones for your space.
And it just gets better from there. Shipping is fast. We're talking under 2 weeks for in-stock items and free on orders of $999. Plus, the prices can't be beat because Article doesn't have any showrooms or middlemen. They save money and pass those savings right on to you. You'll save up to 30% over traditional retail when you shop with Article.
Article is offering our listeners $50 off your first purchase of $100 or more. Go to article.com/chatty and the discount will be automatically applied at checkout. That means if you order something for $102, you're going to get it for almost half off. So yeah, go to article.com/chatty to get $50 off your first purchase of $100 or more. Okay. Time for people to ask advice and we can give our advice. And should we just try calling your mom up right now and see what she's up to?
Yeah.
Go for it.
Sorry, I was just saving images of me and Dave with our babies.
Oh, cute. Okay, stay on task here.
Okay. Mommy.
Time to call mommy.
Hey, honey.
Hey, Mom.
What's shaking?
Nothing. I'm just sitting with Bekah. We were wondering what you were up to.
I'm laying on the couch. I've cooked.
Oh, okay. Why? What did you do today?
Laura's moving in today, or she just and everything to the apartment. So I probably was going to go over there later and do some minor things to help her out.
Okay.
Do you remember there was a board, I think, that supported the middle in the big bedroom, supported like that whole big bar in the closet?
What?
There was a closet. There was a built-in section in the closet that I removed to make more room.
You did. So do you think it's out there? I remember seeing a white board with a U shape.
I don't know. I mean, it was years ago. It could be out there.
Yeah, because she says by the time she puts all her clothes on there, she's afraid that it's going to fall down.
Maybe. I mean, I had all my clothes on there.
Hi.
Hi, honey. How are you?
Good. Okay, wait. Gray was actually calling you because we were wondering, we're just recording like a fun little segment right now, and we were actually wondering if you wanted to give fun advice to people, and we're going to give our advice, and then we thought we'd call you to see what your take was.
Right now?
Yeah.
Yeah, just off the cuff.
Oh,
It's just off the cuff advice.
We can edit anything out.
okay. What is it?
Okay, there's a few different questions that people had. So let's start with one. Let's start with something light, okay? My husband...
Yeah, Gray did not have girlfriends spend the night in high school.
She wants to set the record straight, because I said once that Gray was allowed to have girls spend the night, and you say that's not true?
No, I was never allowed to have girls spend the night, but girls spent the night, and I was never in trouble for it.
Grayston, you're out of your mind. A girl never slept with you during high school.
Well, Mom, there's a saying, what mommy don't know, don't hurt her, okay?
Did your dad know?
I don't know, maybe.
Jim just walked out of the shower. He said that never happened. He goes, never.
Okay.
Gray has a different memory.
I definitely have different memories. But they also...
Okay, what girl?
Yeah, what girls? Name names.
I'm not naming names. We're not getting in trouble for any of this. I'm not naming names. We're not putting anyone on blast. But we will acknowledge that my bedroom was next to the back gate to leave the house. So quite often, anyone who did would leave through the side gate.
Okay, so if you didn't get in trouble, that means... Okay,
But
so...
that's not what she was saying.
So to defend your parents,
Well,
they
yeah,
didn't
because
know.
Bekah will hear the story and then exaggerate.
You just said you didn't get in trouble for it, which I thought that meant your parents knew. And now your mom's saying she never knew.
Well, she might not have known. I mean,
Let's let bygones. Let's let bygones be bygones. Okay, first question. Advice question. My husband cheated and now we are going to therapy. Do you think I'm crazy for trying still?
Oh, my God. You guys woke me up for a nap for this.
Go.
I was having a lovely nap.
What's your thought?
That's my thought. You woke me up from a nap.
Do you have no advice to this woman?
Oh, my God. Come on. Be a good sport, Linda.
My wife, I don't know.
Would you work it out with Dad?
I don't know. I just got woken up from a nap.
Next question.
Next question. Boyfriend's mom is pushy, and I'm worried boyfriend doesn't have good boundaries with her.
I got no advice either.
Why? You've dated boyfriend. You've had You've had lots of boyfriends.
You've had a partner with a pushy mom with bad boundaries.
I don't know. I'm just saying you've had boyfriends and you've dealt with their parents.
No, well, no, actually. All the ones I had were really nice.
You're terrible at this.
You're really the worst guest.
Okay. Okay, here's the next one. My partner and I misunderstand each other and assume the worst. Help us stop this.
No, say that again.
My partner and I misunderstand each other and we assume the worst. Help us stop this.
I don't know. I have no advice on that either.
Oh my.
I told you I just woke up.
Fine.
Wow.
What if we call you? Why don't you wake up and we'll call you back in 15 minutes?
All right. I have some questions getting at us.
These are hard-hitting questions. These are not like the questions we asked your dad.
Okay, fine. What is Grayston's worst quality? I just made that one up.
That's bullshit.
Okay.
How are we gonna ask your dad that same question? What
Okay.
happened to the ones of like? What happened to the ones of like? What's an economical car for me to purchase?
Okay. Well, I was gonna ask all my dad these ones too.
How about, do you love your grandchildren? Yes.
Oh my god.
Are they being with your grandchildren? Yes.
That's not advice.
Okay, fine. How about I ask you something about Grayston real quick? What is the most in trouble Grayston ever got in as a child?
Ooh.
Oh, that's a tough one.
What stands out to you?
Well, I don't know. I got to think about that.
Okay.
Probably, well, I would say what upset me the most is driving with other kids in the car. And I'm not really.
What? Are you talking about driving with other kids in the car while we were stoned, or are you talking about stealing your cars before we had licenses?
All the above.
Okay.
Who was a better driver, Grayston or Abel, when you guys were teaching them to drive?
Oh, Abel. Hands down.
Okay, what was the who was your favorite girlfriend or girl Gray brought home or girl you ever met that Gray was talking to aside from me?
Aside from you,
Yes.
Liv.
Yeah, I knew she was going to say Liv.
You
That's
are
easy.
so jealous.
I'm so
You want to know? You just want to. You're.
Rebecca, on the honest truth, he never brought, that's why I told you, he never brought any girls home.
Well, Liv would
And
be my
he
favorite
ever-
too.
He
so.
never used the word girlfriend, even with Liv.
Wow.
It's like,
Gold.
you know, that was the other thing.
Wow. All right, well, let us know when you want to help change people's lives with your life-changing advice. Should we call your dad next?
Yeah, we'll see what
We'll
my
call
dad
Jim.
has to say. Yeah,
We'll call Jim.
We'll see what dad has to say about this.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay.
Okay, bye. Thanks, Linda.
Love you, Mom.
Bye.
She was utterly terrible.
That was awful. Okay, let's see what my dad has to say if he's not in any meetings. It'll be funny. He's probably just sitting in his office.
Just launch right into it. Be like, hey, Dad, we're recording a little special segment thing. Lee, can you cut out? Lee,
Your call has been forwarded.
can you cut out the ringing part? I don't know if you have a timestamp going on this one. Yeah, there's just a couple parts where we call both his parents and there's some ringing and like his dad just didn't pick up. So, okay. And just cut out the whole, I guess this whole part with him calling dad. Okay, so what's next? Your dad wouldn't pick up the phone. Should we just answer some advice before we try calling my dad or should we just go for it?
Call your dad.
Okay, or should we, I bet my mom will be free. Should we try calling her too?
Yeah.
You have reached Joe Martin.
Damn it. Should we try calling my mom?
Mm-hmm.
Hello, Auntie Becca. You are on speaker with Ellie, Jojo, Abby, and Ari.
Oh, hello everyone.
Wow, you're busy.
Say hi. Hi.
Hi guys. Okay, you're busy right now. Gray and I are recording something and we're trying to call all of our parents to give spur of the moment advice. But you sound very busy. Oh no, we're just getting random advice from people, but you sound busy. Unless you want to answer a question or two.
Sure.
Great, wonderful. Which one should I ask, Gray?
Ask any of them.
Okay. Okay. Real quick. Couple with a 2-year-old. We're both struggling to make efforts for each other beyond parenting and household survival. What's your advice?
I think first thing, when you walk in the door, it takes time, but you teach your kids that. So you take time every day when you walk in the door to just look each other in the eye, to greet each other, to, be affectionate with one another, and let the kids know that it's mommy and daddy's time after they've greeted them and all that kind of stuff, and taking time, even if it's 5 minutes, just to connect with one another.
Put on a movie or something for 20 minutes and
be careful.
Hang out.
That's a knife.
I thought you were going to ask the same questions
Oh,
you asked my mom.
okay. Same
You keep
questions we asked.
deviating.
Okay, same questions we asked Gray's mom, even though she didn't give advice for any of them. Okay.
No, my mom just kept saying that we woke her up from a nap for this.
Okay. My boyfriend's mom is pushy, and I'm worried my boyfriend doesn't have good boundaries with her. I didn't say this. Someone else did, for the record.
Advice.
And what's their point?
What?
Well, they want advice on this.
They want advice on how to handle it.
Do they want him to have better boundaries, or what do they want to do? How do I deal with this guy's bad boundaries? Mind your own business, I guess. If he has bad boundaries with his mom, that's unfortunate. Yes, it could be an indicator of things to come, but it could also be that, you just have to learn to let people be careful, to let people, figure it out.
Yep. Not really her problem.
Right.
Well, unless the bad boundaries are like his mom.
Did Gray ask me something?
Yeah, Gray's saying
Oh,
something.
I'm saying unless the bad boundaries are his mom crossing into like
Hang on, Abby. Grammy can't hear. Go ahead. Say it again.
like overlapping with her in some way.
Yeah.
So my guess is that maybe the mother-in-law is bossy or wanting to come to the house.
Yeah,
and
she
doing
said
things like
pushy.
that
Yeah.
when it's not an appropriate time, or when the daughter-in-law doesn't feel it's an appropriate time.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a conversation she's going to have with the significant other.
Confront
Let
the
him know.
mother-in-law.
No, not confront the mother-in-law. She needs to talk to him about having
He needs
boundaries.
to deal with his mother. So
Yeah.
he's the one that's going to have to say, hey, Mom, I need you to call ahead, or, just check in with us before you come over, because sometimes, blah, blah, blah. And then he's going to have to deal with the fallout from it. Probably the question is whether or not he would be willing to do that. We're not running it right now.
And then whether or not she'll find out a lot about him on what if he's willing to go to toe to toe with his mom for his sweetheart.
Is Gray talking to me?
Yes.
I can't hear him.
No, Gray was just like,
Fine,
that's on him with his mom.
issues with your mother-in-law.
Okay. One last question, and then we'll let you go.
Okay.
My partner and I misunderstand each other, and we assume the worst of each other. How do we stop this?
Well, you're going to have to change the way you think. I know, it's hilarious, huh? You're going to have to think more like, this person is on my team.
Yep.
They want what's best for me. They love and care for me. They're my closest, friend, or my most intimate person. Of course it's a trust issue, really, is what it comes down to.
Word. Love it.
That's
Okay.
deep.
Thank you for your advice. Enjoy the grandkids.
Thanks, Allison.
You're very welcome. Can we all say goodbye to Auntie Bekah?
Bye, guys. Well, I see a common theme. Grandkids. My mom was taking care of her grandkids, and your mom just wanted to talk about her grandkids.
I thought your mom's advice was pretty good, though.
pretty spot
There's
on.
pretty obvious answers in the middle of those things. I mean, like in all those questions. I thought the last one definitely was just more about like empathizing with your partner.
No, I think it's exactly what our therapist told us, which is kind of what my mom said too, of like, remember you guys are on the same team.
Or like if we bring it back to Greg and
Katie,
he was not empathizing with her position whatsoever.
No.
It was just Greg. Greg cried, and you weren't comforting in the way that Greg needed you to be. Without ever taking a second to consider that she's having a hard... Like, when she sat down and explained that, like, it's hard for her too, and he's like, oh, yeah, how? Oh, I don't know.
It might be a lot of pressure for her to be the bachelorette and have to choose between these different relationships. She might understand
Or
what it's like
just-
to have her dad die.
Switch between them. Yeah, he carries that shit around like it's literally... You're preaching to the choir when you're talking to Katie, and by consistently waving that flag in her face of like, woe is me, this burden that I carry around, he's belittling that her pain or the fact that she's been like, you know, how she has dealt with those things.
Yep. Exactly. And someone said too, they were like, how triggering do you think it was for her? By the way, when I'm tapping your foot, I'm trying to get you to look over
I know,
at me.
but I don't want the bottoms of your feet
But
touching me
I'm
constantly.
just tapping you to have you look at me.
I don't like it.
Okay, that's your boundary. I'm going to respect. Sorry. What was I going to say? Someone was saying he didn't stop to think about like how it might actually be kind of like triggering for her to hear him talking about how she fills the hole in his heart where from his dad. Like, can you imagine how that might just be kind of like, ooh, a little overwhelming, maybe, to hear in the moment?
Yeah. And this is where, like, if we're going to go into the Bachelor stuff a little bit, this is where I just really like Blake more and more and more, is because Blake is unwilling to say that kind of stuff because he's so aware that there's, like, such a tunnel vision from the show being created that he's also like, look, like, all the feelings are there for me to feel this way, but I'm going to be very particular in what I do say when I express these things to you.
Yeah. It's mindful.
And not jump to things like saying that they filled this void to then just so easily be cast aside.
Yes, to so easily then walk away after this person is now your everything, supposedly.
Those are like, you know, those are things that are just incongruous in this entire situation.
Incongruent?
Well, incongruous is a word too.
Broads, one more quick pause. I have come to a place in my adult life where I've accepted. I just don't love cooking. I mean, the traditional way, that is. I just get overwhelmed trying to find a recipe for dinner when everything looks good. And then even when I do find something, the cost and time it takes to get through the grocery store for the ingredients, okay? But by the time the dinner is ready, I'm over it. All I can say is thank God for Hellofresh, the new way to put delicious, nutritious meals on the table.
HelloFresh is the meal kit that delivers you fresh, pre-measured ingredients and mouth-watering seasoned recipes right to your door. Finally, cooking can be easy, fun, and affordable instead of something you dread doing. And each week you get to choose from 50 menu items like pecan crusted trout and San Antonio beef bowls, all of which are recipes I would have never tried to make before, but with HelloFresh, I can have them ready to eat in just around 30 minutes.
I mean, seriously, 30 minutes to have pecan-crusted trout on the table? Are you kidding me? It would take me longer to get myself to the store and find the ingredients to make that, okay? I think out of all the benefits of using HelloFresh, though, and there are a lot, it's the time that you get back, where before cooking was stressful and took me away from time with my hubby and my daughter, HelloFresh gives us those little moments back, and that is priceless.
Go to HelloFresh.com/14chatty and use code 14chatty for up to 14 free meals plus free shipping. That's HelloFresh.com/14chatty to get up to 14 free meals plus free shipping. HelloFresh, America's #1 meal kit.
Oh, Broads, I am so beyond excited to introduce you to a company that has products that are so good, and the company itself has the most beautiful passion. I am honestly tingling thinking about you all trying this. It's Foria. Listen, if you are a sexual being and wanting to experience sexual pleasure in your life, it should be just that, pleasurable. And Foria's absolute focus is to close the pleasure gap, bring pleasure and honestly lifelong sensual well-being to people with vulvas and people who love them. Foria was actually the first brand to create an all-natural product line addressing sexual pleasure for women and people with vulvas.
Foria is unreal amazing. All of their products. Also, Foria's products are always organic, plant-based, and sustainably sourced. Their arousal oil, their sex oil. I mean, the incredible testimonials you can hear from people who started using these products and had major life changes is truly shocking. Too many women and people with vulvas experienced sexual pain or discomfort, 75%. And in addition to organic broad-spectrum CBD, Foria's intimacy line uses all-natural botanicals like kava to make sex more comfortable by relieving tension and discomfort.
Also, the intimacy suppositories. Okay, for penetration lovers, the intimacy suppositories provide targeted support to enhance arousal, pleasure, relaxation, sexual comfort with 50 milligrams of organic broad-spectrum CBD. By the way, our Foria fam has reported that when used rectally, the intimacy suppositories can help with back pain from menstruation discomfort. This specific product from Foria has been pretty life-changing for me. I cannot lie to you. You should see the amount of testimonials that this company has. It really, like Bekah was saying, it's changed people's lives. They are incredible.
Foria is offering a special deal for our listeners. Get 20% off your first order by visiting foriawellness.com/chatty or use code chatty at checkout. That's FORIA wellness.com/chatty for 20% off your first order. I recommend trying their sex oil. You will thank me later.
So here's the moment of clarity I had while I was peeing.
Okay.
Is something I think that we do need to address is Greg, I don't think is fully in the wrong for having his feelings hurt by Katie's reaction to him saying,
Sure.
You laughed so hard at that when he confesses this whole thing to her, which is a big moment for him. And she just goes, oh, I just love looking at you. Which we laughed at super hard because we're like, wow, what a fucking slap in the face.
Yeah. Well, I was laughing at like his face literally was like, it was such a meme moment, but it also was a very real moment where he was hurt. It was also
like,
for sure.
Where like, how does she not realize that like was extremely hurtful?
Well, I think that,
and also like just like super dismissive.
I really don't believe that's where she was coming from, because she was like very confused when he just turned. I think that like someone messaged me this and they're like, I feel that way about my husband. Like, I'm not like, you're so hot. It's not like, oh, you have such big tits kind of thing. It was like I'm just like soaking in like this moment with you.
Okay, but still, if you were to be talking to me, think about how you react when you're talking to me about those kinds of things when you want to have a conversation with me, and I'm just like, oh, you're so pretty.
Well, it didn't, to me, it didn't really give her a chance though to say more. Like literally what happened is he paused and she was like, and she was smiling at him and he said, what? And she goes, nothing. I like looking at you. And she was like looking right at him. And then he was like, and then she was like, what? Like,
yeah, and then he's like, well, how are you responding to like what I just told you?
He didn't do that in that moment. What he did in that moment is he shut down and she was like, what? And he was like, nothing. And she was like, what? And he's like, well, nothing's wrong. Why would you think something's wrong? She was like, your body language. And he didn't tell her what was wrong until the next day.
He didn't in that moment just be like that in so many words say that he was disappointed in her response to him opening up to her?
No, he was literally like,
because I can't remember the exact play-by-play.
The timeline was the next day where he was clear about how that hurt his feelings, how she responded. And then she apologized.
Yeah. Okay. I just want to say, I think it's like, while we're all on the like, Greg is I do think it's important to like acknowledge that
of course he was hurt, and that's valid.
Anyone would be disappointed by that reaction.
Yeah, but I think what's the context that people are leaving out is that for almost every episode, the entire season, she has been showering him with affirmation and
just
validation.
Gushing over him.
Yes, and every time he's asked for more reassurance, and she's always given it to him. Yeah. And I really don't think, I think this was just like a moment that was misinterpreted, but then it got turned into something super toxic.
Well, yeah, I mean, and that's where the thing he needs to take accountability for is looking back on himself and realizing he was giving her outs, she was taking them, and then he was reneging on them. And like that person said, just moving the
goalposts.
Yeah, exactly.
And it was like she couldn't do anything right.
And this is something I think like the other side on what I was trying to get at, in a more succinct way, and something I've brought up in relationship advice topics before, is you have to want to get better. Like you have to want this to heal the situation. You have to want there to
heal yourself.
The goal should be to make amends if you want it to be. And that's when you start to see, it did not seem clear to me that he wanted to resolve what he was upset about.
And that's what my issue is. I'm like, if you say that this girl's the love of your life and fills the hole of your dead dad and you want her to marry you, then how are you going to not want to resolve such a simple misunderstanding? Yeah,
and that's where
then I call bullshit.
We argue me and Becca's personalities are very we're extremely combative with one another, because if one of us gets an opinion and the other one doesn't share the same opinion, it's war. But typically, even when those things, not typically, every time it gets heated, we're both sad about it. And we're both like, hey, like, that's not how I want
wanna
these
be
things
good
to
with
be.
you.
Yeah, like, are we good after that argument? Like, like, and we spend hours hashing it out and seeing like, okay, what were you, like, what was your perspective in this argument? What were you talking about? Like, it's not that we want to avoid all conflict, but it's that, like, at the end of conflict, we both want resolution.
Yeah.
We both want the same thing. We want
to be together in a healthy,
Exactly.
happy relationship.
And that's the shit that was really standing out to me as a big red flag in that entire thing. Was like, it was very unclear to me that he wanted there to be any peaceful ending to this. He wanted to punish her and make her feel bad.
Yes.
And that's the shit that's like, that is what's so scary in this, is he wanted to make her hurt.
Yes. And people were actually saying that. They're like, I don't know if he had malicious intent. I'm like, it seemed pretty clear to me actually that he wanted her to grovel and
Yeah,
and
he
be
wanted her
punished.
to like stew in like her mistakes,
yeah.
which is weird.
And be like, see, this is what you made me do.
Yeah,
You made
pretty
me
much.
you made me have to go here. Didn't want to, but here we are.
I didn't want to do any of this. That's like, okay, Katie made you go on the show. Katie made you stick around. Katie made you.
Yeah. You applied for like 3 different seasons, and yet you don't. The whole Rose thing is bullshit. I'm sorry. You applied to be on multiple seasons of The Bachelorette, but this whole Rose thing isn't real. It's all fake.
Yeah.
Okay, guy. All right. Do you really think, like, I think he thought he did something. Like, I think he's a little delusional, and he really thought that he, like had his monologue and, like, did his whole, like, that's on that, Katie.
He had his little
Peace.
one-liners in there. I can't remember what they were, but he had his.
He said, I deserve better when she was on the ground.
Yeah, and then he was also, what was it, where he was like, he got on a big thing about, like, the riffing on, like, what does the rose matter? What does any of this stuff
Yes.
matter? Like,
That's not real, Katie.
and this sort of like, what's not, like, yeah, it was just the, like, that he's going crazy from the process. I don't know. I mean, I've never been on it, so I can't speak to
I have.
it. This
I haven't
stuff,
been that far, though, but...
the stuff that was just clear to me is like what we were just saying is like, and when you think, I think when you get in an argument with someone you care about,
You want to make things good.
yeah, you want to make things right. Even with when you argue with your friends, it's like a thought of like, when someone extends the peace offering, are you going to take it, or are you just going to like,
Dig him, drill him into the ground.
yeah,
Yeah.
those are, I don't know. Those are the choices I saw him making.
Yeah. I feel you. Anyway, that's that on Greg. That is that on Greg. Anyway, you want to give some advice?
Sure. Yeah. What are some other questions?
Okay, we can give our advice since I'm so disappointed your mom didn't want to actually give her takes.
Dude,
You can have words with her later.
I don't know. I mean, I wasn't surprised really. It's better. My mom in those situations gets really shy and cleans
Yeah.
up.
Yeah.
You know, it's better to just start talking with her and not tell her that
Yeah, it would
she's
be
on the
better to
show
make up a fake
whatsoever.
scenario and be like, dude, I have to tell you, my friend Erin said that, like, or my friend Allie said that her husband cheated, and you know they're going to therapy, and like, I don't know, like, what do you think about that? Like, I'm not sure if they can make it work.
Well, the thing is, if my
And then
mom,
she would start talking.
yeah, exactly. If my mom didn't know that she was on the air, it would have gone.
Yeah,
in
she's getting put on the spot.
So many different directions.
Well, it already did. She was trying to help you. She was trying to get you to help her find the piece in the closet to hold up the closet shelves at McManus.
For the record, you guys, I removed that piece of wood years before I even met Bekah. Like, probably like this
6
is
years
like
ago.
this is probably like 6.5 years ago that this piece has been missing from the closet, which, mind you, she's concerned because the person moving in is saying that her clothes are, the person moving in is concerned that her clothes are going to weigh the bar down. But there's been multiple people living in that room with all their clothes on that closet
Well, maybe it's just going to be one step too far. Straw that broke the camel's back.
Yeah, she probably also has a lot more clothes hanging up on that thing than I ever did.
Probably.
You have way more clothes hanging up than I do.
Yeah. True. Okay. Oh, and one other thing I wanted to say, because, while you're here, and so, I'll humor myself. I have to say, though, actually on a real note, when you're talking about this relationship stuff and like us fighting, I just want to say, I guess I just want to clear it up. Not clear it up. It's not like there's anything actually going on. I made the mistake of going in the YouTube comments last week to read the YouTube comments on our episode. And there are some people who are just like a little wild out there.
They seem to know more than we do.
No, it's literally just like one or two comments. But, and it actually kind of made me smile because there's some people that are just like, like, I don't know about the two of them. Like, first Grayston has one of his exes in his Instagram search bar. Now Bekah has like a guy she used to hook up with on the podcast.
Yeah,
like,
so people look so deeply into that stuff as if like, okay, so the ex that I was looking up is currently pregnant. And she's going into, I think she's in labor now. She like, the last thing she posted was like, oh, she's like taking a break from Instagram until the baby comes.
Oh.
So I was like, oh, it's like right around there. So, yeah, she's like in my recent searches.
No, but I think that this is what I love about you. Like how this ex even came into the searches is like, you literally had a dream about her.
Yeah.
And it was making you like feel some kind of way. And you were like, oh my gosh, like, and you were able to confide in me and be like, oh, I keep having the thought, like, what if something actually happened between us? Like what ifs of our relationship. And you were like, I looked her up on Instagram. That curiosity from a past partner, especially if things didn't like pan out the way they could have. It's kind of like, what could have happened? I completely understand that. And so then I was like, oh, well, like follow her and like, or talk to her if you need to. Get her on, like talk to her on the phone if you need to, whatever.
Bekah and I are also like,
and so,
it's just both of us talk to exes. Both of us are still like friends with people we've dated from the past. Like you still talk to Chris.
I mean, we reply to each other on Instagram.
Whatever. There's still like, it's not
a cutoff.
There's no animosity.
Yeah.
Which says a lot to me about like this person in past relationships. Like if you're with someone who's like, basically like you cut people completely out of your lives, or like you can't call a single ex and have a reasonable conversation, like that shit is wild
like
to me.
Everything granted, like there's one guy where I'm like, I don't want to talk to him again, but like there's some things that are messy.
I have them. I'm sure I definitely like, but the majority, in my mind, the majority of the women that I've dated I can call.
Yeah.
And I'm not on like mean terms or anything. Like if anything, like they're going to pick up or I'll pick up their call and it's like, hey, what's going on?
Yeah. Like we don't go around burning bridges with the people that we are close to in our life.
No, because communication, I mean, these are lessons learned.
Yeah. I do not think I've been a good communicator, even in our relationship. Like I think there's,
no,
we both
I certainly
have a lot of
haven't.
issues.
Like living with, honestly, like the most eye-opening experiences for me were living with women in college.
Like, which it's interesting to mention, not like they weren't your romantic partners. Like you're talking about roommates, female roommates.
Having roommates who then, because I went to such a small school, everyone was friends with everybody. So you were accountable because the girls I was dating were going to talk to my roommate about my behavior. They're going to, people I'd face every day would learn about the things that I said to this person.
Yeah.
Or my actions. And it was like, shit, dude, I don't want to have to be faced with, childish behavior, being like, oh yeah, like this person handled this thing very childishly. This person handled it like a coward. This person,
right.
Which frankly, I do think like ghosting people or just like cutting all ties, that is cowardly behavior,
emotionally immature at times. At times it's necessary, of course, for like personal safety or boundaries, but
well, absolutely, when you realize certain stuff, like the way Greg's behaving in that thing would be like definitely a like, okay, like I'm not talking to you anymore. but just being like making the decision to be like, I don't want to date this person anymore. So I'm going to make that message clear to them by just suddenly ignoring all their texts and phone calls and avoiding them at all possible situations and just leaving them in sort of a questionable angst
Instead
and
of just
concern
saying
over
like,
what
hey,
they did.
I don't think it's going to work.
Yeah. Like you were a coward.
Yeah. I mean, I know you have strong feelings about that. And I think that your feelings are justified. And I appreciate that you don't do that to people. But what I was saying was like, I appreciate that you could come to me even and just be like, oh no, like well, it wasn't even like, oh, I just like want to chat with my ex. It's sort of like, oh, I'm sort of like thinking back on our romantic encounters and like wondering what could have been. And like, it was kind of like, okay, well, if you need to talk to her, like you do know what you need to do. And I do know, like, jokes aside, even like having Eric on the podcast, I know that would be really intimidating to a lot of like male partners to be like, why the fuck are you even talking to that guy?
I'm not intimidated.
Wait, someone's calling me. Aha! It is Joe.
Perfect.
Hello.
Hey there.
Hey, do you have a second?
Sure.
Gray and I we're doing like a little segment and we're just asking a couple advice questions, and we talked to Gray's mom and mom, and then we were wondering if you had a minute to answer some quick advice questions.
Sure.
Okay. Let's just dive right in. These are more serious ones, by the way. Okay. Should we ask him the same ones, Gray?
Yes.
Okay. My boyfriend's mom is pushy, and I'm worried my boyfriend doesn't have good boundaries with her. What do I do?
My boyfriend's mom is pushy,
And I'm worried he doesn't have good boundaries with her.
and I'm worried she doesn't, what?
He doesn't have good boundaries with her.
Oh, he doesn't have good boundaries with her.
Yeah, she said she's worried about that. What does she do?
Oh, well, she's got to. Very simple. Find another boyfriend.
Dumb. Is that the end of that advice?
Very
Next.
simple.
Okay. Okay. My partner and I misunderstand each other, and we always assume the worst about each other. How do we stop doing this?
$5. He says, find a new partner.
Dad?
That was my answer.
What did you say? I didn't hear you.
I think it's a stupid question. That's my answer. Nothing, just blank. Oh, Lord. Learn to trust your partner or seek another relationship.
Dump him. Okay. What about this one? My partner cheated on me and we're now going to therapy. Do you think I'm crazy for still trying?
No.
Nope, not crazy. Okay.
No, not crazy.
Okay. How do you get over the fear of having children? We are
Have children. Children will confirm all your fears.
exposure therapy.
Have children. Exposure therapy. Have children. It'll confirm all of your fears.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Good one. All right.
and it'll bring new fears to you. That'll trump the ones you had about having them.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, Lord.
Okay. Do you have to like your boyfriend's family or friends?
Do you have to like your boyfriend's family or friends?
Yes.
Do you have to like them?
Yes.
That's a dumb question. You don't have to do anything, but it would be beneficial if you did.
Yeah.
Joint or separate bank accounts?
Married or dating?
Married.
Joint.
No separate ones at all?
No, joint bank accounts.
Oh, this is a perfect segue.
Don't even
Don't yes.
go here, Gray.
No, this is a perfect segue. Joe, Bekah recently brought up the concept of a prenup between the two of us. And I,
Oh, Lord.
yeah.
Oh my God, hear me out. Let me speak my piece. I was talking about prenups conceptually, and I was like, okay, well, I didn't know that in California, I guess it's just an automatic 50-50 split, right? Or something like that. I don't know. Anyway, my thought was, okay, every single couple that goes into a marriage assumes it's going to last forever, right? Every single couple. And the truth is things don't. And so my thing was like, doesn't it sort of make sense just before you get married to just make a prenup where you agree if anything happens, there's just a 50-50 split, and that's a decision that you make when you both are in a good place. So God forbid.
50-50 split. Yeah. I mean, so it's same difference, right? So in California, you're absolutely right. It's going to be 50-50 anyway.
Yeah, but there are other places it's not.
Only work. I mean, so look, let's say something happened to your mother, right?
Yeah.
And I marry some gal from wherever.
Nevada.
I'm probably, I don't think, I mean, it's hard just to say, okay, you know, when I die, you get half of everything.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, that's different. But, you know, when you're first going into a marriage, you're 50-50 anyway. It doesn't matter. So your prenup does you no good. So if you have, like, okay, so something happened, we split everything down the middle, it's the same anyway. It doesn't matter.
But what if it wasn't? What if you're living in another state, though, where that's not the case?
I just think prenups only come in place when there's other children involved that are not yours.
Oh, that makes sense. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, so in my opinion. So let's say that...
Oh, you're saying in your
guys,
opinion.
Right?
Okay.
And I marry a gal that has no kids.
Yeah.
Or she has a bunch of kids. Now what? I'm going to share what I made with your mother with all those other kids when I've had like a year experience with them? That doesn't make any sense, right?
Mm.
No, because it's sort of like...
Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah, I think that makes perfect sense.
Okay, move on, next.
Okay. For me, I was just very hung up on the concept of laying out an exit strategy when I was going, I don't like that.
That's not the way to go into it.
Because yeah, exactly. It's like addressing doubt.
Okay, but I don't even think it's doubt. I was just saying, like, don't you think that everyone has an idealistic view of what their marriage is going to look like in like 30 years, and that's just not always the case, because people are people, and that is human nature. That like things can
but
go
it's what we
very
said.
differently than you expect.
I mean, in other aspects of your life, do you always plan for the worst?
No,
Yes.
but Grayston says yes.
We were just talking about we were literally just talking about how we have to plan for the worst.
Yeah, no, I never do.
What are you talking about? We were literally getting advice from you on a real estate investment, and you're like, you need to assume the worst.
No, that's assuming the worst when you have somebody that'll pay you. But as far as your plans, the things that you have control of, I don't plan.
Oh yeah, I mean that's for us in the relationship. I'm like, we're assuming that we're going to put our best foot forward in trying to resolve every single instance. We're always trying to find the positive outcome from it and work towards that resolutions. Okay, next.
Exactly.
Well, I don't have any other advice questions. That's pretty much it. Okay, I asked Gray's mom this question, so you got to answer these questions too. I asked Gray's mom this question, so answer for me. What? No, I already know the answer to this question. Okay, go ahead, Gray.
What's the most trouble Bekah ever got in?
The most trouble Becca's ever gotten, obviously having children before she got married.
Oh my God.
What kind of question is that?
No, like when she was a teenager living with you.
Probably being caught sneaking outside the house.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't know. I guess.
we know that one.
Yeah, that was the biggest one. I got.
Let's try to ask questions where you don't have to bring up painful memories for their parents, stuff like that.
Look, my mom, every single question, she'd go, "Oh, geez, I just woke up from a nap for this." She didn't answer a single question. She just kept going, oh my Lord.
Ask him the question that I asked your mom about girlfriends.
What? Sleep?
No. The best.
Oh,
favorite.
yeah, Becca's favorite ex-boyfriend. Who's your favorite boyfriend other than me that Becca's dated?
Let's see if I can remember.
Love that.
What's the names?
I think only two serious ones. I guess it only really comes down to Chris and. Steven.
Probably. Who was it? Who was the other guy? Steven and who?
Steven or Chris?
Probably Steven.
Yeah, that's what we thought. Chris is too shady. Okay. All right. Thanks for your advice. We love you.
Where is
My children?
Ruth? Franklin, yeah.
Nanny.
By the way, Allison answered a lot of those same. Allison answered a lot of the life advice questions pretty similarly
To you, yeah.
What did she do on the what did she do on the first two? Those are a little tougher.
The first two is like the boundaries with the mother.
Yeah, she said not your problem.
She said, yeah, not your problem. Ask your boyfriend to enforce more boundaries.
Okay.
And then what was the second question?
The other one was we always assume the worst, and she said you need to trust each other.
Yeah, you need to establish more trust with each other.
And know you're on the same team.
Mm-hmm.
What was the second question? I don't even remember.
It was that we're always seeing the worst in each other.
Oh, yeah.
And you said either find trust or move on.
Yep.
What a miserable way to have a relationship.
Truly.
I mean, think about it. I gotta take this call, guys.
Okay, bye. Love you.
Bye, Joe.
Never a disappointment.
I love how sure your dad is in those.
Where do you think I get it from?
Think about it. What a miserable situation.
I know. My dad has not yet been broken down by the internet like I have over the past 3 years.
No, he has no time for it.
I, too, was that decisive and sure 3 years ago. Now I'm like, well, in instances where we got to be sensitive to this. I used to be that bullheaded.
Your dad gives me business advice, or he was talking about business advice, where he's like, if you know 10% more than the other guy, you're an expert. Just, who is calling me from Lomita, California?
Don't answer them. Ask for their advice on the pod. No, I'm just kidding. Don't.
Hello?
I think I got the wrong number. 31. Oh, I dialed the wrong number. I'm sorry.
Oh, that's okay. Do you have time for a quick question?
Pardon me?
You actually called. So we're on a podcast right now. We're recording. It's like a radio show. And we're actually screening people for life advice questions. Would you like to answer a piece of life advice for our listeners?
No, thank you. I just dialed the wrong number. I apologize.
Oh, it's totally fine.
All right,
have a good day.
Sir. I always do. You too.
Thank you very much.
That was amazing.
I would have loved that man's life advice. He sounded like he was chock full of advice.
He sounded like he had wisdom.
He was a real sweetheart.
I wish that we could do a whole other segment where we sort of prank call people. We just call random numbers.
Oh, we should do that with Alec.
We should have people send in their parents' phone numbers and we just call their parents and say we're doing a survey.
Oh, yes.
Just random people's parents.
Yes.
Wouldn't that be amazing? I love that as a segment idea.
But I think that's a good one. Prank calling people's parents.
Not even prank call. Well, yes, just be like, hi, we're doing a survey where we're asking people life advice.
Most people are going to hang up on you.
No, if we have their name, though, if we have their name, we could be like, hey, this blah, blah, blah. We're actually doing a special survey with the Department of, and we just make up some bullshit.
No, I would just be like, yeah, your daughter gave us your number. We were going to call you. They said you'd give good life advice. And they'd be like, oh, they did they?
Yeah, exactly. We have a radio show. Your daughter or your son, Graystone Leonard, put in your number.
Yeah,
yes.
They're an avid
Submitted
listener.
You for life advice.
Submitted you to give life advice. This is not a solicited phone call. And you're going to have to reassure some people that this is not the government.
Oh, but that would be so fun. I love that idea.
Be like, hi, this is the Department of Labor. We're calling for concerns over your payroll reports. Or just be like, end every call with just being like, by the way, we want to talk to you about your vehicle's registration.
Oh,
What's
yeah.
the phone call you constantly
Your vehicle's warranty is about to expire.
And by the way, your vehicle's warranty is about to expire.
Chat soon.
That's a good way to end it.
Oh, man. Okay, no. The thing that I just wanted to say, though, when I got interrupted by my dad is about our relationship and how one thing both of us are not very sappy people, you know? I feel like we don't like expressing our feelings very much for each other publicly. But I just want to say people don't have to worry about our relationship. I just want to say I'm so happy with you, and you make me feel like anything is possible. And I just love you, and I love being with you.
Thanks, babe.
Will you marry me?
It's not.
I'm trying to pull a Caitlin and Jason.
No.
Oh, how are you?
No.
What were you?
Oh my God. Why the fuck did we watch that? What did that have to do with anything?
We didn't cover this on Chatty Broads, so now I'm going to need you to talk about this.
Nothing to do with anything on the show. Why did we see that? Just because they're both ex-Bachelor contestants who like... It was the most...
They always do this weird shit, though, where they'll have random ex-Bachelor people come out and be like, we're pregnant, you know?
It's the kind of shit that made me miss Chris Harrison. Except that the people they promote, they're reminders that The Bachelor has worked for some people.
Yeah.
That's like why they bring past couples on, to be like, hey, here's a successful couple from this show. The show actually works.
So how do you feel about Jason and Caitlin being from 2 different seasons and whatever?
Oh, it's a stretch. It's a huge stretch. And to me, it was just like, I don't know. I was like, this is so fucking stupid. And it's just like nepotism to me of like, because she's now a host, she's going to promote her podcast.
I don't think it's nepotism by definition, but continue.
Whatever. It's similar to it to me, where it's like, she's getting the liberty to promote herself on the show because she's now hosting it, in my opinion, poorly. What are the hosts contributing to this, by the way? We could literally have the whole season.
She supported Katie. She just had a pep talk with Katie.
No, she tried to pull the Chris Harrison save the season move by being like, hey, I had down times when I was on this too. You just got to pull through it. And Katie's like, fuck you, book my plane ticket. God. And Chris Harrison, by the way, would normally just be like, so what do you want to do next?
Yeah.
How does that make you feel? What do you want to do?
Yeah.
Blech.
But how do you feel about the whole about Jason proposing?
It had zero business being there. Why did we see that?
No, but how do you feel about him proposing to her on her podcast?
I mean, she's obviously the kind of person who I feel like I don't know. It speaks to her as a person that's what she wanted.
How do you know that's what she wanted?
I don't know. Her reaction through to me, it's like, look, it's not faulting her of like, oh, that's a negative attribute that she wanted it. She likes the attention. And it's like, yeah, I mean, she's also, I see these things on a way of like, she's pretty business savvy.
Yeah.
Like she's wildly successful coming off this, and her podcast is too. And what a way to promote her podcast than by having the engagement pitch on it and then being able to promote that segment of her podcast.
Oh, hell yeah.
On The Bachelor. By the way, it's like a Bachelor-oriented podcast the same way. Imagine what you would get if you were able to boost and advertise your podcast on ABC to your audience of over 20 million people. Oh, yeah. It's ruthless self-promotion by the two of them, which is what made me upset about it vehemently. Was just like, this is first off, kudos to the plug. Ruthless plug right there.
Ruthless plug. As a plugger, you should know.
Oh, yeah. And I mean, also, look, I'm also just pissed because Bekah has blacklisted herself from ABC, and we could be getting plug spots like that, and instead they're going to Caitlin. And I just frankly think Bekah could be doing
dates at Long Beach Rising if I had played my cards right.
For real.
Sorry, babe.
They could be going on rock climbing dates instead of skydiving dates.
Yeah.
Which would be funny. Maybe not as exciting as a skydiver is, like, you know, it's not quite as large as the bungee jumping, but it would be interesting. It's a thought. But, like, really, I just think she's getting promotional opportunities you could have had if you just hadn't have literally lit every single relationship you had on fire. But also, contextually, I still see zero reason why we segued from that episode to just talk about that.
I don't know either.
It wasn't even recent, right?
It would have been within, I think, the past few weeks. Past couple weeks. I don't know. I will say this, though. No judgment. Actually, I haven't expressed any judgment on air. But do not, if you wouldn't do that, right? I would not want you to propose on the podcast. I wouldn't want you to propose to in this random room. I'd be a little disappointed. But then I would be like, okay, a savvy business move. I see you.
No, but I feel like we've had the conversation where you're like, you don't want me to propose on the podcast, but you do want me to have it recorded.
Oh, yeah, but I'd even like someone like in the bushes recording it. Like I would not, I don't know if I want a paparazzi popping out from behind cars, you know? I mean, if you wanted to do that, whatever.
No,
I just had
my initial take was I was like, wow, okay, if those are the rules, flash mob. And I was literally trying to organize a flash mob to propose to Bekah.
That is so 2012.
Whatever. I was going to embarrass you. If you're going to make me film the damn thing, I was going to do something worthy of filming.
No, I honestly don't know if I want it filmed. I kind of meant just like I'd like photos. Like sometimes people hire a photographer to like come out and take pictures after the proposal. That would be nice.
Those are really fun.
Yeah.
When you see people get all flustered.
Yeah, that's what I want. I don't need someone I don't need Lee out here.
Yeah, which isn't like, I'm not being like, I can't believe he proposed to Caitlyn on her show. I'm just pissed that we're watching The Bachelor and then we're just suddenly being like, what the fuck does this have to do with the show that we're watching?
Don't act like this is because of you, Bachelor franchise. That's a stretch.
Yeah, it's a massive stretch.
With that, though,
I also think he seems like a real sweetheart.
Jason?
Yeah.
I think he's a nice person.
He's someone me and Evan could play golf with. Why don't we see if he'll come on the show and play golf?
Actually, I believe he has a money related podcast.
Oh, Evan would love to talk about that.
You guys could try to get on there.
I would love to talk about it too, let's not lie. But we could talk about
golf. You guys could invite him. Evan and Gray have been playing with this idea of inviting people out to play golf with them and doing that as sort of like a special podcast segment where everyone's mic'd and there's video and it's like a golf chat.
Yeah, and you get to see how they handle their bad shots. And you get to see how they handle good shots.
I bet if you hit up Jason and said you were going to fly him out to play golf with y'all, I bet he would do it.
I bet he would too. I think it sounds like a blast.
Good luck with that. Cheers. I only had the 2 stipulations for the engagement. Well, I think I had more than 2, but the big ones for me is I just also didn't want any holiday proposals like on Christmas or in front of my family or something. I don't know why that makes me
literally,
uncomfortable.
I said it once and I'll say it again. No holiday proposals coming from the woman who told me I was going to be a dad on Father's Day.
That's because you asked me on Father's Day.
No, I didn't.
Yes, you did. You said, I need to know. You need to tell me.
You held it over my head for weeks.
That's not true.
You're going through a lot. You needed to make an emotional decision. And it just so happened that you came to your conclusion on Father's Day.
But you asked me on that day.
I remember differently.
Yeah, of course you do. You also have a completely fabricated memory of when I told you I was pregnant with Ruth.
Oh, I fabricate memories when we're in disagreement.
You're swinging your keys. You're ready to get out of here?
I am ready to get the fuck away from you now. Me and my fantasy world are going to pack up and go. We're going to take this.
Don't even.
You cannot. You're intruding on my you're shattering my reality.
Just pull full, Greg. I'm done. Lee's following us with the cameras. All shaky.
Get that shit out of my face.
No. Oh my God, which reminds me, guys, last thing before we do go, live podcast episode in less than 2 weeks. August 15th, baby. By the way, it will be available for 48 hours after we shoot it live, which means that if you can't watch along live, you're going to have a couple days to watch it. And we just shot some of the pre-recorded segments for it.
Ooh. Yeah. Also, by the way, if you guys...
We had fun on the beach, right?
We did have fun on the beach. Here is a plug. How about this for a plug? If you want to actually see more of how me and Bekah interact, you should just follow our Patreon. We did a whole season.
Oh my God.
I watched her entire season of The Bachelor.
That's true. What, are you going to have the link in your bio or something? At PPOP?
It was in my bio for a little bit. I don't know if it's up there anymore. Let's
It
check
is
if it's up there.
patreon.com/Bekah and Gray. If you want to watch our toxic relationships dynamics.
Yeah, because look, when I first started recording Chatty Bros, everyone was like, oh my God, save Bekah. And when people first started watching our Patreon, they were like, oh my God, save Grayston.
You guys, there was some toxicity going on at certain points. But overall, we had a lot of fun. Gray fell in love with Ari. Yeah. I
did.
I want Evan and Jess to plug more of their
story.
stuff. You love Ari and Lauren's love story?
Yeah, because it worked out in the end. So it's like, it's different when you're watching him make these decisions because you're like, well, the decisions he's making ended up leading to him having children with the woman he clearly felt the most connection with.
Yeah.
And so I was fun to be able to fully support him in all his decisions.
Yeah. Also, he would be a great guest for your guys' golf segment.
Yeah, if he'd start playing golf. I feel like Lauren's dad is more of a good guest for our golf set. Oh my God, imagine if we had Lauren's dad on to talk about his son-in-law.
Weird, but okay.
Whatever, I was more excited about that.
Anyway.
I'm just trying to think of people who want to play golf.
Tyler
and Matt.
Tyler.
You know how
What about Nick Viall? Oh, I am pissed with him after his take on the episode.
why? What was Nick's
Actually,
take?
he was texting me and being like,
But
Nick's take was like, oh, Greg's just like, whatever.
I always picture the Tyler thing, like how what's his face in The Walking Dead calls after his son Carl. Carl. Tyler.
Okay, I have a question for you. Would you rather live in a zombie apocalypse or aliens?
Zombies.
Why?
Because aliens are probably just gonna be OP, dude.
What's that mean?
Overpowered.
Oh.
Yeah, there's no the zombies.
You got
are
a chance.
Just,
You got a
they're
shot.
numbers.
You can outsmart
but there's
them.
There's clear, defined strat against the zombie apocalypse. There is no defined strat against the aliens because you have no idea what
they're working with.
Yeah, I mean, their tech is way far advanced. At least with aliens, it's just like boom, headshot, and then you win, and you got to funnel them.
You mean zombies?
Yeah, zombies. There's a whole. I would much rather fight the zombies than aliens.
I feel you.
That's my take. Aliens just seem like they're going to enslave all of mankind if they come here.
Maybe.
I mean, that's what we would do.
But maybe they're more evolved. What if they just want to make us our pets, like how we have dogs and cats? What if they just want to make us their alien pets?
Dogs and cats are like emotional comfort slaves.
Yeah, so what if they want us to be like that? Emotional comfort slaves.
We'd still be
true.
And we'd still be serving them.
You wouldn't want to be someone's little pet? You have no responsibilities. They just feed you, give you a cool yard to hang out in.
Yeah, except if we don't do what they want us to do, then they're like, fuck you. And they're like, kick you outside. And they're like, get off the table. Or they just stop feeding you for a day.
That's horrible.
Or they kick you out of bed. You're just sitting there all of a sudden, and then you're in the way of where they want their legs to go, and they don't care that you're asleep, and they just boot you just right off the bed.
Stop. That is really not nice.
That's what people do to their pets. That's what people do to pets they love.
That's true. Some people do that to their pets.
No. So no. I don't want to be an alien. I don't want to be a superior alien race's pet. I would rather bash zombies in with a fucking baseball bat than do that.
All right. Well, anyway, Grayston, it's been enlightening having you on as a guest today. Thank you so much for joining.
Yeah, anytime. I had so much fun. Bekah, if you ever want to come on my podcast and be a guest, you're more than welcome to. Although I'd have to clear it with Evan. It's called Better Than Chatty Broads, Chatty Bros.
Can't wait to hear your hot takes.
It's not actually called Better Than Chatty Broads, you guys. It's just called Chatty Bros.
Do you
it's
remember
a subsidiary of Chatty Broads.
You remember it's still called Chatty Broads, though, right? That's just your episode title that says Chatty Bros.
Whatever. It's me and Evan's show.
Okay. Do you want to plug the content again one more time for the next episode?
Yeah, me and Evan are going to loosely talk about Bekah having, what was it you called it? You're the best first date you'd ever been on?
Mm-hmm.
Did you say that, or did he say that about you?
I said that.
Wow.
But have you heard the story of the first date? It was a really good first date.
I don't even want to. Ugh. Jesus.
Sick.
I'm going to charge money for this shit. If I have to sit and listen to this stupid fucking episode and then talk about it, I want people to pay me for it.
How much?
I don't know.
You're getting paid to do Chatty Bros.
I want to read my own ads. How about that? I want my own ads. I want to read my own ads.
I think you got to take that up with our podcast network.
No, just my own. I want to have real plug cards.
Oh, for your plugs.
Or I'll just start soliciting my own ads. People can just pay me to read ads for them. If you want to promote your business on the podcast, just DM me, and then I'll give you the Venmo information, and we can keep this on the side. Evan doesn't need to know about it unless he wants to go halvesies with me, and then we can promote. Trust me, it'll be a lot cheaper than going through the ad guys, and you can just pay me directly, and I will advertise whatever your business is. Literally, it doesn't even have to be a real business.
Pretty sure it's a non-circumvent. You're just going to be doing like, and shout out to Jason on his birthday.
I'll be just listing. Yeah, if you guys want shout outs for your friends, for your significant others, you can do that too. Just DM me. But I'm not going to read it unless you Venmo me.
Half down as a deposit.
If you think that's unfair, just remember I don't know who you are and I don't owe you anything.
How much are you charging?
I don't know. What do you think it's worth to have me read a happy birthday to your friend?
You should get on Cameo.
What is Cameo?
Cameo is when people pay you like $50 to do like a birthday shout out, a special video for their friend.
Weren't you doing those for a little bit?
Right after I got off The Bachelor, I was like, damn, this is an easy way to make money. And then I was like, damn, this is not worth it.
That's just hungry right there. Who still does? What's it like a big celebrity who does cameos?
Like all the Real Housewives do it, but like big? I don't know. Oh, Chris Harrison charges like, or he used to, maybe not anymore. He used to charge like, bro, he used to charge like $400.
Chris Harrison.
For a 1 minute video.
Would.
Like $400.
Oh my God. It's all that adrenochrome he's got to suck down. I'm serious. Look at him. I don't believe in conspiracy theories at all.
We are wrapping it up.
This isn't, I don't believe that Chris Harrison's actually sucking down adrenochrome out of babies, but he does not age. Look at the seasons. Look from 15, 20 seasons ago and look at him now. God. He looks exactly the same. He's like Pharrell.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's because they use Crete skincare. Crete with a K. Crete.club.
Oh my God. I should have cut you off like 15 minutes ago.
I tried to leave. I'm twirling my keys.
Okay.
Crete.club, you guys. Crete with a K.
Okay, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank God we'll have Jess back next week on Tuesday. I'm sure y'all missed her very much, but I hope you enjoyed me trying desperately to captain the ship this week. All right. And with that, chat soon, broads.
Oh, I don't say that.
You don't say chat soon?
No, never.
Okay. Chat soon, broads.
I say see you later, guys.